I get it, you're scrolling through a dozen outdoor TV ads, trying to figure out whether you're about to spend a good chunk of cash on something that will actually survive the sun, the rain, and a night of cheering for the game. Or whether you'll end up with a pricey paperweight that flickers the moment a cloud passes. You've probably already imagined the disappointment of mounting a sleek-looking screen on the patio only to see it get drenched, or the regret of buying a cheap box that looks great in the showroom but turns the picture to mush after a few weeks of humidity. You want to make sure this one really lives up to the hype before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you think about an outdoor TV, the first thing that comes to mind is durability. Most indoor sets are built with a thin glass panel and a plastic housing that can't take a splash, let alone a sudden summer storm. That's why a lot of people end up buying a regular TV, covering it with a tarp, and hoping for the best, something that usually ends in a costly replacement. The real challenge is finding a screen that can stay bright enough under direct sunlight, keep its colors vivid after a day of UV exposure, and still deliver decent sound without having to add a separate speaker system that can survive the elements. That's the niche SYLVOX is trying to fill with its 50-inch outdoor TV. It's marketed as a weatherproof, Google-powered smart TV that can handle rain, dust, and even the occasional snow flurry, thanks to an IP56 rating. In practice, that rating means the enclosure should keep out water jets from any direction and protect internal components from dust, which is a big step up from the spray-proof claims you see on many lower-priced options. The set runs Google TV out of the box, so you get the usual streaming apps, voice search, and integration with smart home devices without having to add a separate streaming stick. Who should be eyeing this model? If you have a dedicated outdoor living space, a patio, a covered deck, or a screened-in porch where you regularly host movie nights, sports watch parties, or just want a background screen for music videos while you grill, this TV makes a lot of sense. It also works well for people who want a permanent outdoor installation rather than a portable projector that needs a dark room and a lot of setup time. The 50-inch size hits a sweet spot, big enough to be the focal point of a backyard gathering, but not so massive that you need a reinforced concrete mount. Families with kids who love to watch cartoons outside, retirees who enjoy a morning news feed while sipping coffee on the balcony, or anyone who wants a reliable screen that can survive a summer monsoon will find the SYLVOX a solid fit. On the other side of the fence, this isn't the best pick if you're looking for a massive cinema-style experience or if you only need a TV for occasional use. The 50-inch panel, while decent for most patios, may feel underwhelming for larger open-air spaces where you sit far back. If you're hoping to replace a full-size indoor living room TV with an outdoor model, you'll notice the difference in brightness. Outdoor units usually sacrifice some peak nits to keep heat dissipation manageable, so a sunny afternoon will still wash out some of the detail. Also, if you're on a tight budget, the SYLVOX sits in a higher price tier than the basic weather-sealed models that simply slap a protective case over a regular screen. Those cheaper options might be enough if you're okay with a lower dynamic range and don't need the built-in Google TV platform. Talking about practical strengths, the picture quality is surprisingly crisp for an outdoor unit. The 4K UHD resolution paired with HDR10 means you get decent contrast and color depth, which shines most in the early evening or on overcast days when the ambient light isn't blasting directly at the screen. I tried it during a backyard dinner party. The menu videos and streaming playlists looked vibrant, and the colors didn't look washed out even with the patio lights on. The built-in speakers are tuned for outdoor acoustics, delivering a volume level that fills a medium-sized patio without having to hook up a separate soundbar. Though, if you're planning a larger gathering, you might still want a weatherproof external speaker to keep the audio punchy. The weaknesses are more about trade-offs than outright flaws. Because the TV is sealed to keep water and dust out, you can't easily access the ports after installation. That means you need to decide on your HDMI connections, USB devices, and any external antennas before you bolt it onto the wall. If you later want to add a game console or a cable box, you'll have to remove the unit, which can be a hassle. The remote is a standard infrared model, so it can struggle with line of sight issues if you're sitting behind a large umbrella or a high table.